Senior guard Rob Johnson had a career-high 28 points against Minnesota last Saturday, and he capped that performance off with a win over Penn State on Tuesday night. And the senior joins us now to talk about it. Rob, what's the feeling in the locker room after 2 straight Big Ten wins?
It feels pretty good right now. I think the biggest thing is we're trying to look at ways we can get better so, that we can continue to build.
And talk about that win over Penn State. You guys didn't shoot too well, but still came away with the victory on Tuesday night, just shooting over 40% from the field. How were you guys able then to pull off that win, you think?
Yeah, I think it was a good sign that, even though we weren't able to shoot well, we still were able to pull out the victory. I think, it's a sign of maturity as far as just finding a way to win.
And you guys also got some down news. Deron Davis with a season-ending injury. What kind of loss is that for that team, despite the most recent wins for this group?
Yeah, it's a big loss. Deron, that's our big guy. He does a lot of different things for us. He scores in the post, rebounds the ball. So we're definitely going to have to come together and try to find a way to compensate for some of the things that he gave us.
In what ways do you best address that?
I just think everybody has to try to raise their focus level, their attention to detail just a little bit more, try to give a little bit more of themselves to the team to, help get an extra rebound here or an extra, easy bucket here or there.
The next task ahead is Northwestern on the road. What's the biggest challenge that they present for this group on Sunday?
Yeah, Northwestern, they're a very skilled team. They're coming off a good win against Minnesota, so they'll have some momentum. So it'll definitely be a challenge for us, but we're looking forward to it.
And something that was a challenge for your team last season was on the defensive side of the ball, which you guys have seemed to have made significant improvements on. What's the biggest change from last year's group to this year's group, defensively speaking?
Yeah, I think, it's a different scheme of things that we do. But ultimately, I think guys have done a better job of buying into the things that, Coach Archie preaches to us day in, day out. And I think gave us some good results.
What does he preach in and day out for a guy like Archie Miller?
Yeah, he just, preaches stick to the principles. It's things that we practice every single day. From, closeout drills to, 5-on-5 defensive schemes, just certain things that we want to stick to no matter what and who we play. And I think, it helped us.
And you've been there for 4 years, Rob, so you know better than anybody. Why is Archie Miller such a good leader and such a good fit for this program?
Just to piggyback, off of the defensive comments, I just think every day, we come in with a set schedule of some things we want to accomplish, and we just stick to that day in and day out and try to, track our progress and, just stay focused on what it takes to win.
And you seem to be a guy that buys into that no matter who's the head coach. Archie Miller complimented you at the beginning of the season, saying you were one of the guys that came in the best shape that he's ever seen an athlete come in at. What's the motivation for you year in and year out to reach the levels that you want to go?
Yeah, I just try to, stay focused on the things that matter, and that's all the things that I can control. I can control my effort, my attitude, and that's something, that I try to get better at every day. And I think it's been good for me when I've been able to do that.
Who's taught you that kind of mindset?
Probably my parents. It's something that was always drilled into me since I was younger. There's a lot of things you want, be able to control in life, but if you can control the things that you can, you'll be able to fight your way through some of those challenges.
And last year, you controlled your destiny by choosing to come back to Indiana over going to the NBA. What did you learn through that process as a whole last season?
For one, that, I needed to get a lot better. But I think coming back has showed me how to be more of a leader. It's put me, in a lot of challenging situations, and I'm just excited to, continue to build with this team.
What were the biggest areas that you felt like you needed to get a lot better, as you mentioned?
I just think, consistency, a day in and day out, the defensive effort, trying to be a lockdown defender, trying to show I could play a little bit, you know, of point guard with some of the things that some of the personnel mentioned. So those are probably the two biggest things.
And I got to end these on a fun note, so I got a couple of fun ones for you. So you get to hang out with one NBA star of your choice, past or present. You get to bring a teammate with you. Who are you choosing to hang out with from the NBA, and which teammate are you bringing with you?
Probably Kobe Bryant. He's always been my favorite. And the teammate I would bring is probably Johnny Jagger, just because he's funny. He's going to keep the mood light. And
I believe you said he's one of your roommates as well. Is that correct?
No, that's Quentin Taylor. He's also a walk-on, but yeah.
Fair enough. All right, well, then let's dive into the roomie scoop here. You live with 3 fellow basketball guys, as you said. What's one funny roommate story that you're willing to share with us?
There's a lot, but I just know we always have to argue and try to figure out who's going to take the trash out. That's something that nobody seems to like to do.
Who's the messiest?
So, yeah, that's a little funny.
Who is it?
I think everybody's guilty, to be honest.
Fair.
I couldn't just pick one.
That's a good team move right there. All right, Rob. Well, we appreciate the time. Best of luck to you and your messy roommates in your endeavors here as you wrap up your senior season. And thanks so much for the time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.